Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome back to the new podcast name, When You Don't Know. I have to remember that it's different.
It's the same podcast, just a new name.
Yes. We hope you all are doing super well. By the time this is coming out, we're already in fall. I'm just trying to think of the timeline of this, but
I don't know if it's fall in Texas, but
yeah, it's probably
we'll
still hot here.
see.
But we thank you all too for. It's always nice to hear just your thoughts on like the new name and just like getting feedback and all the things. So keep after hearing a podcast if you like it. Don't forget to like write a comment or anything. I read all of them and I always respond. So I just really appreciate them. So
Yeah, gotten some good feedback recently.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Yeah, it's been good.
And we have a very special guest today. So it's actually Andrew and Tiph. And Tiph and I were actually roommates back in the day. So this is the third roommate that I'm interviewing, which is super awesome.
Yes.
The roommate tour.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I always love to hear because it's crazy how, wow, when we all lived together, it was years ago and every single one of us was single. And now it's so fun to like interview like my like old roommates and their spouses. Like it's just so fun to be like full circle moments. Tiff was one of the people.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Okay, you Tab and Shane, we interviewed them a while ago, but Tab, Tiff, and Soph and I, Vera and I, right? Yeah, we were the ones. Soph, why am I? Okay, yeah, it was Soph. Sorry, we were the ones like back in the day. We had like a gathering at our house, and we just were in the room. We just prayed over our future husbands, and all of us are married now, which is just so wild and very cool to look back and be like, "Let's prayer works, y'all."
Yeah, and I guess Tiff is one of the people who connected us.
That's actually true.
That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Oh yeah, okay,
yeah,
right.
I was like, this is like for me, it's like that's obvious because Tiffany and I were in the same like student group when we were in ministry school, and well, since you were roommates, we were like kind of seeing each other here and there, and yeah. So I remember, I obviously I remember that. Yeah,
it's cool.
It's really important. And Andrew and I, we had a good pizza together in Ohio.
What was it? The gabagool?
The gabagool. Yeah.
Dude, that pizza slapped.
Obvious. That's so funny. I wish I would have had that, but it's over. It's fine.
Yeah, it's good. Maybe we'll come back one day and maybe they'll have that pizza. And unless Amelia moves out of Canton.
It's possible.
We're trying to get her to move to Austin.
It's possible. Listen, that's a possibility apparently. So we will see. They're going to be on our podcast sometime soon too. So we'll get all of them. Everyone to be interviewed at this point.
I love that.
Yes. But I really wanted to interview Tiph and Andrew just because like I love you guys. I think you guys are an incredible couple. Like I think your story is so beautiful and I think people need to hear it. And also we have a lot of clients who like they might have their own preconceptions or pre-assumed things on like, okay, like if I date someone who I don't know, has a divorce or date someone who has kids, or date somebody who X, Y, and Z, they have their own ideas of what that means. And it kind of freaks them out. And there's a lot of anxiety around that. And I
have that, so
yeah, exactly. And so I think that it would be super cool to hear just like obviously a redemptive story of this. And you guys like will go into the beginnings, middle, and ends and how things are going now, obviously. And yeah, so that is the introduction. Go ahead.
Well, thanks for inviting us on. And I think that we really are excited to talk with you because we really have seen God restore and redeem. And yeah, it's been really cool to be a part of God's story and to be a part of something that's not really there's not a lot of blended step families in the Christian world that we know of that are saying, hey, it's not that scary. Go after it. And, it's not something that you dream about. You don't dream about marrying someone with kids and you don't dream about your first marriage ending. So no one dreams about being a step family, but it's a really beautiful place that I think we've really gotten to see God be incredibly redemptive. So yeah, thanks for having us today.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk.
For sure. And tell us, Brayton, we can just go from right now. How long has it been since you guys been married?
2 years in January.
2 years in
So,
January. That's
isn't that
wild.
crazy?
That
Yeah.
is so crazy.
Can't believe it's last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's true. Wow.
We can just go from the beginning. So, um,
Just paint the picture of your
yeah,
story.
paint the picture of your story and how y'all even got together and go from there.
I mean, I might have to go back even further than where our story began, so
Mhm.
people have
Totally.
context.
Yeah.
I married my first wife in 2013, and we had 2 kids together, and they're now 9 and 6. So, that's awesome. But yeah, it took quite some time to realize that quite a bit of trust was not quite being built in some areas.
Mm.
And I quickly found out one day that a lot of trust had been broken, and
Mm.
had to really walk through next steps and what does staying and working on look like? What does counseling look like? I had my own junk I had to walk through as well. There's a period where I was working way too much. I was emotionally checked out. I thought I was doing the noble thing by like working extra time and providing for my family, but it did create quite a divide that I had to like
Mm.
really own and like, okay, this is not sustainable. Um, but as I was willing to work on myself, I just kind of feel like the other half of the equation was not at the time willing to work on things. And it took about 18 months for me to realize, like, hey, this isn't moving anywhere.
Mm.
And I've been trying and trying and trying, but just couldn't get any actual steps to go forward. So we had actually separated. And after that 90-day separation, I was like, hey, like nothing's happened in 90 days. And there's no progress here. So
Yeah.
Mm.
what are we doing? And to my surprise, she wanted to keep working at it. But what that meant was really she wanted the security and label of marriage.
Mm.
Mm.
And I didn't care so much about that as much as I wanted a whole life, like
Yeah.
a whole life where I could be connected with somebody, and we just weren't having that. And so we divorced. It took a while. It was during COVID, so just like the court system was shut down, it just took
Mm.
forever to get divorced. Got divorced, and I just continued through that whole journey to continue to work on myself and realize my shortcomings and like why I'm okay. Why am I okay being disconnected?
Mm.
Mm.
What why is it that my go-to for comfort is actually to unplug?
Mm.
What is that? Why is it that when connection comes along, I actually get really uncomfortable? Because I'm actually really good at asking questions and being vulnerable, but if I'm
Mhm.
not careful, I can do it for performance and
Sure.
for I guess likability.
Mm.
And so I have to like really check myself, like, okay, like what am I sharing? Why am I sharing? And yeah, so in a nutshell, how to really work on all that stuff, figure out what I wanted. And I took about a year before dating anybody and just kind of started mulling around. I got on Hinge one day, and for anyone who doesn't know, it's just a dating app. And just started poking around. And I was on there for about like 6 months, which felt like an eternity on that platform because it's
Sure.
just a lot of ups and downs. It's pretty tumultuous. But um, then Tiffany comes along, and do you want to pick up from there?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, this would have been 2022. Is that right? I think because we had dated and were engaged for a year and a half before we got married. Um, so yeah, we ended up meeting on Hinge, and I made my profile on a Friday night, and Andrew had liked me on Sunday, so I was only there
Wow.
on the weekend.
Okay.
Um, and there's a bigger part of our story where I didn't toggle off am I open to kids? Because in the past, I've made a profile and I always made a preference that I was not open to dating someone with kids from a past. But this time, I felt like God had opened up my heart where I was
Mm.
open to having a relationship with someone who's had kids before. So I kept that preference as it is in the default. And so Andrew popped up, and he wouldn't have popped up before because he was toggled
Wow.
off. Um,
Mm.
and so he said, "Hey, do you remember me?" And I said, "No. How would I know you?" And he said, 10 years ago, Second Baptist College Ministry.
Whoa.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the drummer that I had a crush on.
That's crazy.
And I remember having a crush on him. I thought he was so cool. He was just over there drumming. But I mean, Tabitha was at his first wedding.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Our friends Mallory Crawford was at his first wedding. So it's bizarre that we didn't cross. Like, we
Yeah.
don't recognize each other, but we didn't know each other. We weren't friends. And I mean, people have said like, oh, what if you guys had gotten together? And I'm like, Tiffany and Andrew of today are not the people that we were 10, 12 years ago. We
Right.
needed to go through everything we went through to become the people that got to get married. So that's a little bit about us. We met on Hinge, and I think it's a great platform if there's God's grace on it, and if you're open minded to finding somebody on there,
Hmm.
because there was no way we would have like overlapped again. We just, yeah, I'm so grateful we met.
Same.
Oh.
I love that. And Tiff, I think it would be interesting for people to hear a little bit, because what made you open now to date someone who has kids compared to before?
So this is a spiritual question. So this is
Yeah.
something you would have to talk to with God or
Hmm.
come up with your own conviction of. But for me, my life was surrendered to God fully, and I wanted to be a part of his plan wherever he was taking me across the world, into anything, any wherever he was, I wanted to be a part of him.
Hmm.
And it was actually during worship one time at church that I felt like the Lord actually talked to me in my heart. And he said, my pastor was prophesying from Joel 2. And he said the next 6 months are going to be 6 months of acceleration, and that the years the locusts have stolen, God is going to replenish and redeem.
Hmm.
And that was in July. And Andrew and I met in August. And
Can you just share a bit of why that matters to your story? Like that scripture specifically, with just your history and just the context.
yeah,
I don't know
well,
if everyone knows.
I mean, I hadn't dated in 10 years.
Hmm.
And I was like, what is wrong with me? Am I not pretty enough, funny enough? Like, am I not in the right circles? Am I not in the right friend groups? Am I not in the right church? Why am I not meeting anybody? And it was really frustrating. And it's not that it's not that I didn't want to meet anyone.
Right.
And I was open to dating, but it was just not working. And so it felt like I'm losing time. It felt like I'm I mean, I would have loved to be married at 21. So it felt like lost time. And so when God said to me in my heart, he said, "Would it be okay with you if I redeemed time by giving you children that you didn't birth?" And I
Hmm.
said, "Yes, of course. My life is yours." And so a few weeks ago, I got on Hinge, and that's kind of where that began. So I think my heart was open, my mind was
Right.
open. I had a change of mind of thinking, I don't want someone with a perfect story. I don't want someone who's um, never had to go through something, because
Hmm.
now I'm like, I have someone with grit. I have somebody with a
Yeah.
story. I have somebody who's gone through some stuff and come out on the other side. That's powerful. And I
Yeah.
have two kids that I get to love who are amazing and God's gifts. I mean, yes, it's unconventional and it was hard, but I don't know. I am so glad that this is our story. And I don't think we we would have chosen to get married 12 years ago when we knew of each
Sure.
other.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, God's just writing such a big different story in my life. I wasn't available.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about that often. Like, even if we did meet, like, what am I gonna do? Leave my wife for you? Like, no. Like, you know, I was air quotes happily in love
Mm-hmm.
and um unavailable, at least at the time that we probably met. So it really is interesting to see how God can use two pencils at one time to write different
Hmm.
stories.
Mm.
And it really
I
does,
love that.
it does feel like sometimes like there's just one giant master pen that he writes everything with. Um, but he's writing like so many different books all at once, and it
Yes.
really is crazy to see the creator create. And I
Yeah.
think we both live from the mindset that we want to see wherever the Lord is, we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
kind of just our mission of just like, I don't care where we are, wherever He is, we want to be. And if that's sanctity in marriage, we want to be there. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
for a season, it really was like, okay, this is our mission field to figure this out.
Mm.
Mm.
And you know, there's so much about that we can probably dive into more, but um, yeah, I just love how our stories, we weren't available to each other. You
Mm.
know,
Mm.
it was like there was a crucible period for each of us because Tiff went
Yeah.
through. I don't know if you had really. I walked away from God for sure
Mm-hmm.
during my whole thing. I was like, I know what this means. I'm in ministry. I didn't feel punished, but I definitely felt like gypped.
Mm.
I was like, this is the deck of hands that you have for me.
Mm.
Been in ministry for 15 years at the time, and I was like, this was your plan. And all along, you know, it's so hard to see the end goal whenever you're stuck in it. But
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that, but it was just really cool to see how
See
he can,
redemption.
yeah, he can use brokenness for good
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
every
Yeah.
time. You know, we see it in Moses, a murderer. You know, he used him to lead people to his promised land. Like it's just really is crazy how he can use anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So
For
Yeah.
sure. And we can talk more. How did so obviously you met on Hinge. You guys obviously liked each other, went from there. Tell us how more about your dating journey. Like what did that look like up until like I guess even to like the good, the bad, and the ugly. What did that look like?
Well, we pretty soon went out on a date. We went on a date that weekend and then again the couple days later. And we were on a schedule. We could only hang out on kidless nights. So
Mm.
we kind of, I mean, I don't know, we hung out probably once a week, but we wanted to hang out every day. And dating was electric at first. And it was, I mean, not at first, like it didn't stop, but we really early on knew we wanted to be together. I mean, it
Mm.
was
it's 2 weeks.
we were just like, okay, yep, this is it for us.
We were locked in at 2 weeks. I was like, hey, I'm not seeing anybody. Let's make this official.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so I don't know, we started hanging out more, going on dates. I think the good parts about it were Andrew, and it's what made me feel incredibly safe with him throughout the whole thing of finding out, not finding out. I knew that kids were available, a part of the story, but Andrew is very good at being emotionally safe and asking good questions, and he does a lot of interviewing for his job, and so I felt
Mm.
very loved by all the questions, and he wanted to know my heart. So it was all the good stuff. The bad stuff was all of our insecurities from the last 10 years, my singleness, his first marriage, they were all brought up, and
Yeah.
we dealt with them, but it was pretty hard. I mean, we were in a cycle of fighting every weekend and
Mm.
then resolving virtually on Monday, and not being able to be together to reconcile. So we went through a cycle of just like trigger city is what we call it. We were
Mm.
triggered and
And we had 2 tickets every weekend.
we were season ticket holders to
Yeah.
Trigger City. Um, but I think there was just, I don't know, a breaking point. We went to go see Aaron, our counselor, and we were like, something has to stop because we are so gripped by fear of the future, of what this person will be like in the future. And we
Mm.
just had to start trusting each other. And I think a big part of our story is like expressing our need and expressing what we want and then just being honest about it. And so a lot of our fights were like, um,
Yours are definitely wrapped around connection, needing connection.
mm-hmm,
Where, and I think sometimes since we only hung out on weekends, I was looking to unplug
Mm.
because you know I was working or whatever, and my default is unplug. Her default is connect, and so I'm like, well, if I'm gonna spend my whole weekend from you, I'm going to need some time to unplug. And I
Mm.
think early on in our relationship, I actually was awful at voicing my needs. I was so uncomfortable with it due to lack of trust. and not necessarily
Mhm.
trust in you that you had broke, but from previous relationship.
Mhm.
I was just like, well, one, just inherently, I didn't grow up voicing my needs. I just didn't really
Mhm.
know how. I would probably do it passive aggressively or like indirectly.
Mhm.
So when Tiff came along, and she's a very direct person, she'd
Mhm.
be like, I want to see you tonight. We're going to hang out. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, down. Like, you don't even have to ask. But um, I wasn't great at voicing my needs. And I remember there was this time that you were going to Trader Joe's, and like, do you want anything? And I don't even remember what it was. And I was just like, yeah, can you get me so and so? And like, you called me or something. You're like, oh my gosh, you voiced a need. And I was like, oh, how cool. And it's just like baby steps of celebrating, because we both recognized in the relationship, like, I cannot voice my needs. And
Mhm.
so it took
Mhm.
a long time, one, for me to define what are my needs? What do I need to feel connected and safe with you? And then, yeah, I think a lot of our communication early on was definitely fear wrapped. There was honest intention, and at the night, like the end of the day, it always stemmed from, I want to be closer to you, but this thing is making me afraid that you're not going to be the thing I need in the future.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know,
That sentence changed our whole relationship. Whenever we would get in fights, we would verbally say, I want connection with you. This thing is in between. This uh
idea.
yeah, whatever the problem was, we would just name it and voice our motive of conflict. I want connection. I'm going to overcome this obstacle, because otherwise, without stating the motive, we would get so lost in, well, your tone is terrible and I don't like what you're saying,
Mhm.
and I'm assuming with what you're saying, and
And why didn't you kiss me goodbye? Like everything was like hyper scrutinized. We were
yeah.
Yeah.
really
Mhm.
good. We were very good at just like, well, you didn't do this. We were very, very much keeping score early on.
Yeah.
And I really
Mhm.
hated that, because it really robbed us of a lot of joy in some of those moments. But once we kind of started to realize, okay, like Tiffany's not a threat. Like
Mhm.
she is actually for me. That was a big game changer for me. And I was talking with my counselor, and he was like, dude, at some point you're just gonna have to actually full blown trust her. And like you're not even have evidence to trust her. You're just going
Mhm.
to have to, because in order to move forward, she's gonna need that from you. And I was like,
Mhm.
when I
Mhm.
need that from me, I need to
Yeah.
not always be on high alert, like she's gonna leave me or she's gonna um not want the best for me. And so those were really groundbreaking shifts in my brain, where I was like, okay, we're going this direction. There's no
Yeah.
more um, waiting on things to be perfect. And can I paint the picture? Like Tiffany lived in town. She was very much like a fun single 30-year-old. She
Mhm.
had no man, so to speak. Like she just go out and do whatever she wants. She has a ton of friends, which as a guy who lives in the suburbs with two kids, having lots of friends, and you're going out like almost every single night, and not even doing bad things, but like hanging out with friends, going to dinner, like doing honestly really fun stuff. It wasn't bad. It was just the amount that started to really freak me out. So I'm like, I need someone like to be home, like logistically, like homework,
Sure.
chores, kids, school, um
Being a part of the family in the evening
being,
time.
yeah, exactly. And so
Mhm.
I had a ton of doubts, like, okay, like maybe she can do that, but will she like it? And that was a
Mm.
Mhm.
big fear of mine, is like, is she gonna like feel oppressed by jumping into our life? And I feel like it's a little unfair to like ask somebody like, can you leave your whole life and just join ours?
Hmm.
But that's what the call was, because
Yeah.
like there's three of us, one of you. The math just ain't mathing. And
Mhm.
so, you know, for us to make this work, like, are you okay with this? Was a big piece. And I'm a long term planner, and I'm always like, what's next after this? Like this chick's amazing. Like, what's next? Okay, like courtship towards marriage. Okay, what does marriage look like with us? And so just really like thinking through all the stuff, I found myself getting really, really scared, really,
Mhm.
really nervous about, not is she capable, but is she willing? Is this
Mhm.
something she wants to do? Because I don't want to be with somebody who I have to like convince to do something, or like this is the thing we do, like sorry. That was a
Mhm.
lot of fear in that, and that's like, I'm not just affecting my life at that time, I'm affecting my kids' lives too.
Yeah.
And so, and like just everything. So it's a big ask for a step parent to like jump in, or a girlfriend to like make the next step to like being a wife and like a blended family. There's a lot of commitment. We had to really dissect every single piece. I
Mm.
remember arguing just like, well, you're out so much. Like, how are you going to be home? Like, are you going to be fulfilled if you don't see your friends, 2 or 3 times a week? And I just remember being so like locked up in that. I mean, it was probably from month 3 to 6. It was like 90 days of consecutive, just like grinding of gears, trying to figure this thing out.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So good times.
We made it through.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, I think that's, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of maturity there,
Yeah.
and I feel like there's not a lot of people who can probably say that they went through something like that and had the awareness, to understand that they need some things a certain way, or that they need to be better in other ways. So I just feel like it's really inspiring to be able to, for you to change and trust her, and for her to like also be open to come into your life and be a parent, to your children, and yeah, just be a good wife.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's inspiring, and it can be inspiring to a lot of people who I think are maybe experiencing the same thing. And I'm always thinking about that one person that we worked with. I'm not too sure where she's at.
I think where things are going well. I'll have to
Yeah,
follow up, but
yeah. But it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's beautiful to see how God really, you know, helped you guys
yeah.
and blessed your relationship and your marriage and made it what it is today. And obviously, it's still obviously the beginning. It's, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's really inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll say this too. I think that like the reality is when you are dating someone who has children, there is just, as you're saying, logistical things that you do have to consider. And I think that it's interesting to hear it from your side, Andrew, because I think that the most people that we work with might be the people who are on Tiff's side, who are like on Tiff's perspective, I should say, who are like, I'm unsure, like I'm
Mm.
thinking about dating someone and they have kids and whatever. But like even from your perspective, it's like this feels like a big ask, but also this is something like legitimately you have to be able to want, right? And like how do we like? It seems like there was a lot of communication that had to be done in every single step to make it like flow as seamlessly as it could. Because reality is there's not only two of you, there's two other people involved that have to like be maneuvered into this new thing. And it's like I can't really introduce you fully until you feel like this is something you can do. And I know that that was something that you guys had to like navigate, because even for you, I know everyone's different, how often or how quickly I should say people or kids are introduced. But what did that look like for you guys?
So yeah, Andrew and his ex-wife had a rule that they wouldn't introduce girlfriend or boyfriend for 6 months. So that was our goal. We were going to get to 6 months. We were going to meet the kids then, because I think that's a really good rule of thumb for anyone listening. Because by then you should be out of Trigger City. You should know if you like this person enough to commit your life to them and everything that is in their life. And so, like I said, by week 2, we were committed, but we wanted to honor the other side and just let our relationship grow. So, we met the kids early because we were out on a date and one of the kids needed to come home from school and his ex-wife wasn't, it was a whole thing, but we had to pick them up. And
Mm.
so we ended up picking Mason up early, and it was so funny. It was very weird. It's like you're meeting a stranger.
Mm.
Mm.
Um, I had never interacted with kids before. These are really the only kids that I've ever interacted with, and they're my
Mm.
favorite kids.
It's
But
great.
I just, I mean, personally, I had to learn the language of play. I had to learn the
Mm.
language of loving without restraint, because I'm not trying to get them to like me, but I want to build a connection with them.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of just, hey, come over and do a puzzle. Hey, come over, let's go to the park. Come over and let's have dinner together. Hey, come over and let's go to ice cream. And so lots of play dates for me and the kids to just interact with each other. And I mean, there's a whole other side that we don't have to get into, but their mom is very much in their life still. So getting her trust and her approval it mattered to me because she's a person who is
Yeah.
worthy of honor and respect. So, I mean, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah, and you had a lot of doubts about like, am I good enough? Do I fit here? Like, am I gonna meet the culture of the family, specifically like our little dynamic?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to really walk through, and I never
Mm,
actually doubted your capability. I doubted your confidence for sure. I was like, I'm not sure she's
mm.
confident enough to do this.
I wasn't.
Fake it till you make it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of the really early on, it's a lot of little on ramps to like build connection.
Yeah, I think
Mm,
if I could give some tips to people, it would be really have honest conversations with your like partner, boyfriend, fiance at that point and just say, "Hey, going into dinner tonight, can you just help set the can you help set the
mm.
conversation up that I can be included?" Because there was a couple of nights where it was just the three of them chatting, and I'm like,
Yeah.
how do I jump in? It's like you're
Yeah.
at dinner with a group of friends who've been friends for 8 years. That's
Yeah.
what I was stepping into. And so Andrew would intentionally ask me a question or things like that. So setting he really set me up well, and I'm really grateful for that. So,
Mm.
and you were doing a good job on the other side talking to the kids about, I've got a friend Tiffany, I've got a girlfriend Tiffany, I have a really good friend Tiffany.
Yeah, you became a household name. I wasn't afraid to talk about you, and I think that's something unique. We didn't completely hide Tiffany for six
Yeah.
months. We just hid. We kind of planted the seeds of the idea, what it would look like, and then slowly incorporated you in person.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Mm.
And then you just
That's
moved in all
good.
of a sudden.
Well, after we got married.
After we got married.
Yeah.
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 I think to a kid that's probably crazy. It's like, whoa.
You're
Well,
here
that's what's so
forever.
funny is that actually the first morning I woke up here, I was in my pajamas, and that's never happened before. And they were here, and I was like, "Hey guys," and they were just eating their breakfast. Hey, I'm like, "This is a new thing for you, right?" But
Yeah.
I think we had done a really good job of me incorporating into their normal day. Like we would go pick them up from school, and um, anyway, I think that they were just used to me being around. But it was
Hmm.
weird. I was like, "Are you guys like not shocked that I'm here?" I'm shocked that I'm
Yeah.
here, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun. Yeah.
I'm wondering because I think that I just seeing you now and like how you have so smoothly like in my head I'm like, oh, this was always your life even if it wasn't. And my like for you Tiff, I think like with how you are and like just like even your cute little moments that you might like even post to Instagram for example of it just like, oh, like I don't know, getting ready for school or whatever. Just there's certain things in just my head I'm like, oh yeah, Tiff has always just been a mom. Like in general, even if we always called her Mama Tiff, like that was always a thing. And so to see this in my head, this doesn't surprise me, but I am curious because you were like, I think it was when you turned 30, like you and your friends all went to Greece. And then like you got, like you always like were always surrounded by a lot of friends. And like, that was just always your
Houston
thing. Your
crew.
Houston crew was like your thing. Um, and was there ever any, like, did it feel, I know because you were transitioning throughout while dating too, but did it feel, what was the transition like from going
Yeah.
through that of like,
The
yeah, I
lifestyle
am
too.
single and obviously I'm dating, but I'm single, but also I'm dating someone as kids to being like, I'm Mama Tiff for real. And this is like really just been natural for you. It seems.
Um, I think for the first few months, we got married in January. I think probably for the first 4 months, I didn't feel comfortable in my house.
Mm.
Like I I felt comfortable enough, but it felt like I was living in someone else's house.
Hmm.
Mm.
Um,
You
obviously I
were.
was, but
Sure.
um, so going from single, I'm living in Greece. I'm going to Greece with my girlfriends for our 30th birthday. To I'm married and I have two stepkids, and my life is anchored around. Please, I need to have chicken nuggets in the freezer at all times.
Mm.
Um,
That sounds good.
I think it was definitely a stark reality check. It was hard when I started having to say no to people,
Mm.
and my friends were having a game night on a Tuesday night,
Mm.
and I'm like, yeah, I can't go to that.
Yeah.
Or my friends are having a worship night, something good and godly. Yeah, I can't go to that. And so that was hard, but I had a vision in mind. Like, I am building something over
Yeah.
here, and God also calls this good. He does
Mm.
call
Mm.
the pursuit of marriage good, family good. And I'm trying to build a relationship with these two kids that I can only see limited time. I can talk to Andrew by text and phone, but I can't text and call the kids. What are we going to talk about? Um, so it was just a lot of those little decisions to say no to my old life and say yes to my future life. And God, I think God was really great to me to um, just reshape a lot of what those relationships look like.
Mm.
And He gave me a lot of peace to know the season you're leaving was an amazing season. It's not going to look like the future, and that's okay. Neither are better than the other. One is where you're going, and so I can tend to be really nostalgic about the past and want to live in the past. But yeah, I don't know. I knew that what it required of me to build a relationship
Mm.
meant I had to say no to game nights to say yes to a walk around the lake and chicken nugget dinners. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think those things. But at the same time, now it feels so normal and natural. I hate calling them my stepkids because they are my stepkids technically, but I love them like my own. And they consider me like their second mom. And we have a relationship very supernatural. I feel like of a mother and kids. Um, and I'm so grateful. And I feel like a lot of that comes from just intentional time that we've chosen to do together. Um,
Mm.
but
Mm.
yeah, what would you say?
I just had a question. Like, what do you think you'd tell like somebody who is in this season where they may not have had such a clear calling or a word from God, like about stepkids?
Mm.
Because I'm just wondering what your journey would look like if you didn't have that.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking about that because not everybody
Not
believes in
everybody,
God.
Yeah.
or not everybody, gets a crystal clear like
Yeah.
this is my next season for sure.
Mm.
I
That's
think
good.
just letting go of the expectation of what your life should look like and open up to say, what could my life look like? And
Mm.
it might include stepkids, and that could be really good. Stepkids or having kids from a prior marriage is not bad. What's the bad part about that?
Yeah.
You have someone with a story, you have an ex-wife you've got to deal with, an ex-husband you've got to deal with. You get kids for half the week. Those aren't bad things. I don't know. I think reshaping what you think about that is important. I mean, I had to let go of the expectation that I would have someone with a cookie cutter
Mm.
testimony and someone who's never been with anyone else like me. But like I said, I would be trading that for a really great story. So I think if you open up your mind to, I don't know, just what's in front of me.
Yeah,
Yep.
Do I
that's good.
most importantly, do I like the person? If you like the person, I think you can conquer anything.
Hmm.
And
Sure.
if you like the person, their kids should not be the deterrent of you not spending your life with them,
Mm.
because you can shape your life into what you want by the
Yeah.
Lord's help if you're a Christian, and if you're not a Christian, by self-help. But
Yeah.
I feel like something we've learned is that we can't read each other's minds, and we we like to be proactive in, hey, like, for instance, I'm not going to dinner this weekend if neither one of us express a need, a want, a desire, or make plans to go to dinner. Otherwise, I'm going to sit on my couch.
Hmm.
But I think that it's important to go about your life in, hey, I want my life to look this way. So even
Yeah.
though I have these 2 kids that I didn't birth, I can still have a really connected family. And it's just been expedited for me. I feel like I'm
Mm.
rambling, so I'm going to stop.
No, and I just want to like
That's good.
reiterate that. I think the expectation and being open for
Yeah.
something different is huge. I think it's one of the biggest things the people who are we work with struggle with,
Yeah.
because they have a picture in their mind of what the exact person's going to look like, how spiritual the person's going to look, how how all of these
A
things.
life story. And
Yep,
yeah.
exactly. And then that's where the anxiety shows up, because they're like, well, it's different. And is that wrong? Is that God blessing this? What is this? And they kind of like get in their head. And it's like, let go of all of that. Like in reality, like you can have desires, right? And you can have like wants, and like I think there's certain things that make
Preferences.
sense,
Yeah.
preferences, sure, whatever. But I think that if we're so rigid on exactly how the package looks, we miss out on so much beauty, because we get in our own way of like, I think there's fear, as you guys were saying, there's fear around like, well, what if like
Yeah.
the person can handle it, or what if like X, Y, and Z, whatever that means, things change and blah 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 blah. Like we have all, like our minds can get in the way of all of it. But this is also what it looks like to be surrendered. Like I think like being surrendered also looks like, yes, it's under my control, but I trust you, Lord, that you will guide me exactly where it needs to go. And if for some reason this didn't work out, then you're going to bring me someone else, right? Like I just like truly believe that that's, if our hands are open, then we can just like let ourselves like date, we'll say. And because not everybody, as you're saying, has like a maybe a clear picture that this is what their story is going to look like. But I think like imagine if the person that you end up marrying has, as you're saying, has kids. Okay, like I don't, it's really not, it's not as big of an issue as I think people make it seem like. And I understand there's maybe can be extra things involved with that.
I think it's just
But
for some people, it's just like you said, is the process of letting go of like, what could have been,
yeah.
and I think that that's fair, to be able to grieve that, but also you
Mm.
shouldn't let that hold you back from something that's real.
Mm.
A
Yeah.
person who's in front of you was real and not an idea.
Mm.
Totally.
Because I think that's more important, and you could always chase an idea your whole life if you're not okay with like work with what you have and make that better and make that work. And like like you said, Tiff, like if you like the person, there's
Yeah.
something there, because obviously I'm guessing too, you guys, like, even though you both had your own insecurities, like you said, that came up when you were dating, like there was something that made you push through.
Mm.
There was something about each other that you were like,
Sure.
I don't want to let that go. Because I do think that even though we have these insecurities, or these things that maybe we thought would happen differently, um, there's something about our relationship that is more important. And I think that that's
Mm.
sometimes people who are talking with us and have anxiety, they kind of forget about that, in a sense of the connection you have with that person is more important than the fears you may have.
Yeah.
And I will say generally it is, because fear is never, for me, that was the thing that also kept me going with Joy when I was dating her, and that anxiety. I was like, fear is not worth listening to, and I'm not gonna let that fear like destroy something that would be good for me.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, that's good. Um, I am curious what it would be on both ends. I know Tiff, you shared some things, but even for you, Andrew, and if Tiff, you have any more tips, what would, if you were giving someone advice who is in the same place that you are now, or you were when you guys were dating, and they're figuring out like, should I date someone who has kids? Not like I'm freaking out, whatever. What would be a piece of advice that you would give them that you think could be helpful?
I've got a couple. I think one of them would be make sure you're really good at having honest conversations, and don't be afraid to ask the thing that you are nervous to ask.
Hmm.
So I think it's really fair to something else coming. It's really fair to ask the questions like, can it be fresh again? Can you love again for the first time? Are you going to be able to love me in the same exciting, fresh way? And the answer is yes. They are, and it will be fresh again. The other thing is it's okay for you to want to know the whole story and why their marriage broke apart and what their part was to play in it. And you did
That's
an
a key
amazing
piece
job.
for sure.
Because
good.
one person may have broken trust, but it takes two people to break a marriage. And so
Totally.
I think that it's fair for you. And if someone's saying you don't need to know the whole story, yeah, you do.
Yeah, that's a red flag. If somebody's dodging hard questions, red flag.
Yeah.
I think for me, like at least just dating in general, fear of rejection was the thing that drove the ship the most for me. And it took me a long time to realize that, hey, my worth does not come from what someone else thinks, or my worth does not come from what this relationship could bring. And I feel like when I got over that, I had so much clearer eyes to just like get out there and like, we're just going to test it out. And it wasn't so high stakes, you know? And so when Tiffany came along, I was at a really good spot and I was rebuilding trust even with the Lord. Not necessarily his trust with me, but definitely my trust with him, because he didn't necessarily break it, but I was having a really hard time seeing it. And so rebuilding that trust actually really threw Tiffany for a loop. That was a huge insecurity, and rightfully so. You know, the whole unequally yoked, but
Wait, is this person that I'm dating like
love God?
do they love God? Because I love God, and
we had some rough conversations of just me spewing about all my pain and hurt, and
I think you have to have eyes to see like, okay, this person is honest, humble, and they do want to love God. They're really hurt right now by God. And you have to trust that they are walking and doing the work to heal. And Andrew was. And so that was a sign to me to say, like, okay, we're good to go.
That's good. That's similar
I have
for us.
one
I
other
feel a
tip.
bit. Yeah, go ahead.
Just don't put any expectations on the kids to like be head over heels over you, because they're going through their own thing.
Especially the older they get.
Yeah.
Because you met them at like 4 and 7. No, like
6 and
4,
4.
6 and 4, yeah.
And so just don't have any expectations on them to like think you're cool or like you, because they're now going through a lot of like, well, what does this mean about me and my mom? And
Yeah.
And so just play with them and build a relationship like another person.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I think it's important to not feel like you have to force yourself or like make that relationship forced, you know, and just kind of let time do its thing as well. But yeah, that's
You're gonna say something about
no, I just felt like it was kind of the same with us, you know, like for me, like when we met, like I was going through a lot of stuff, you know.
like spiritually,
Yeah, like spiritually, like I did come from a church that was really bad and toxic, and that really destroyed my relationship with God. And so I didn't want to like you phrased it. It's like I really want to love God, but I just don't want to do the things to do that. You know, it's like I don't want to pray, I don't want to read my Bible, I don't want to do all these things, and that was something that I think you had grace for me too for that, and I think that was really important because you knew my heart was to love God. It's just that I didn't feel like doing it.
and I think too you were working through. I think too, like obviously you were in BSSM. No, in BSSM, I think there was a lot
BSM
of
saved me,
trauma work
honestly.
that he was working through in the best way.
Yeah,
and I think that really is the key. Even what you're saying and what you're saying too is like it's one thing if it's like cool, like I let you have good intentions, but like it's like maybe if you're not trying to at all, like you don't have a relationship with God. But obviously it seems like Andrew, you were like in therapy, you were working through your own process of BSM.
yeah,
There's something
obviously
happening.
A lot of mentors and all that, so
I think
was really
that's
helpful.
important. Like there's a teachability and there's movement that you guys were both working on.
Yeah.
That I think is helpful for those who in that process, if you're like, so we have a lot of people who are like unequally yoked, what does that mean? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's so specific, but I do
People
think
overthink
like
a lot. So.
some of them people are just overthinking. Everyone's on the same page. But yeah. Anyway, but we have another episode on that, and we won't go to the nitty gritty in that conversation. But I think that that's it's cool to see examples for real of people who were in that place and how they navigated that. So I think that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of had a quick question because I don't know. I'm just kind of wondering. Do you feel like for Tiffany? Do you feel like whenever you guys were dating and then you met his children, everything? Do you feel like seeing him as a dad kind of also helped you? Because you see something that a lot of people won't see. Like Joy
That's so
doesn't know how I'm
true.
gonna be as a dad. Obviously, I think I'm gonna be a good dad, but
Wow.
just curious.
Yes. Yes. That was one of the biggest things for me. And honestly, I told some of my friends this before, like, Andrew's been married before. So, he knows, how to be married and how to stay married,
And how to not
and
be married.
how to not stay married.
Yeah.
And he also knows how to parent. And so the first time I saw him with the kids, I mean, I got googly eyed
I'm
all
sure.
over and in a new way. I was like,
Mm.
oh my gosh, you are so pure gold and good. And
You're
that,
so
I
hot.
mean, you're so hot. It was so unreal, because
Yeah.
you're right. Like a lot of people don't get the gift of seeing your person immediately as a parent, and what are they going to be like. And I got to see that immediately, and I thought, oh my gosh, he's the best dad ever.
Mm.
He's the best. And watching him be a father, I remember just telling you all the time, you're like their dad. Like you're
Yeah.
their safest place. You are that to them. And it was just a shock to me. And he's like, yes, I am. I love them. And but it's incredibly special to get to see him as a dad, far before we were even married.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool.
That is
Yeah, I
really
like being
cool.
a dad.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Just for people who are in this situation, it could
Yeah.
also be reversed. It could also be like the mom and the dad being single or
Of course.
whatever. So that's something you get to see that most people don't get to see that.
Yeah. And you also got to see Andrew like living a whole life. Like this man is very good with his home.
That's true. He
His
loves his
grass is
grass.
perfect.
He
Like
loves his
pristine.
grass.
Like there's a lot of things I think you got to see that like again, some people who don't get to
Yeah, he
experience
had a
certain
home too.
things
That's pretty
that
cool.
I think is really cool because you got to see like
Yeah.
he's responsible. He's a good dad. Like he's X, Y, and Z that some people just don't get to experience. I think that that's really
Right.
beautiful.
Yeah, it totally was. Yeah, the first time I came over, I was like, okay, you like have a home.
Yeah.
You've got your stuff in order. You have plates. You have cups.
Mhm.
Like you
Wow,
have silverware sets.
that was hot
Yeah.
too.
I was like, wow, so hot. You guys. But yeah, no, it is very special, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys.
Y'all just glazing me up.
Yeah.
Now here's his address. I'm saying, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's great. The most important thing, you guys are happy, and
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Truly,
Yeah.
like it's really just a blessing. I mean, we love marriage. We know that, and we all love marriage.
We
But
should all
it's
lift closer.
for real. Who knows?
I know.
But it's always
We're
just
actually stayed here for the next 12 years.
Yeah,
So
for 12 more years, I have to stay here.
okay.
But there's
Deal.
houses for
That's
sale
true.
right down the street.
Oh, really? Houston. You
How
guys have
much is it?
hurricanes.
I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, how much for fun?
For the house,
Yeah.
Near
That's for,
down the street.
it's
Well-
probably 350, 400.
it's
Oh.
probably 425.
She's the realtor. You have to ask her
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
if you need help.
You could get something.
well, I'm a
for
realtor too. But,
Oh yeah.
Perfect. Come on down.
but I'm apartment locator.
Oh my
Different.
God. 425. Okay. Anyways, I'm just
Okay,
thinking for
we're not gonna
fun.
buy it, but okay.
Whatever. Okay. Any other? I just want to make sure. Any last questions that you had?
No, I think that's good. I think we had a good time.
Yeah.
It was good. It was helpful. It was efficient. I feel good.
Yeah. I'm just really impressed. You guys shared your story so well. Like you articulated that so beautifully, and like I'm just it's not always easy to replay it or how to like say it so efficiently. But you guys did a great job. So just wanted to say that.
Like there's a big glare of the sun.
Well, thank y'all again so much for joining us on this podcast. Like we are so honored. I love you guys, and I know people are gonna love you guys too and love your guys' story. And for those people, anyone who's in the same situation or even are thinking about it, I think this is a good testimony to share on both ends what it's like to invite someone in when you have had hurt and have kids, and like just that process, and what it looks like to have maybe different expectations, adjust your expectations of what you want your dream to look like and open it for something even more beautiful. So if y'all,
and if you need a house in Houston, go talk to Tiffany.
In Texas,
or if you try to sell it.
Yeah. Boom. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, don't forget to do all the things and all the places that they're at right now.
Subscribe.
They're everywhere. So
like, comment, review.
Share it to somebody who needs to hear it. Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
And we will talk to you all in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Thank you for plugging in, and thank you for coming with us, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Of course.
Guys.
Of
Love
course.
y'all.
Love you too. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.